Smartwatches are generally considered as objects that will bring you some kind of value. But there are just 3 things I just can't stand about Fossil smartwatches, and maybe one little extra. The worst thing about all Fossil smartwatches is that ridiculous low battery life. I've had the Fossil Gen 5 for about 2 years now and the Fossil Gen 6 for about 1 year, and I can see a clear downtrend regarding the battery life. Even though Fossil smartwatches do have an advantage compared to other smartwatches like the Apple, Samsung, or Huawei watches, since they not only have one battery saving option, there are actually 4 different ones that can expand your battery life to a few days, if done correctly. But in all honesty, most of us will just stick to the daily mode with which we can use all of the smartwatch functions that we want to. I mean, that's the reason we buy them. And if you use the Fossil Gen 5 in a daily mode, you will roughly get around 22 hours of battery life, and the Fossil Gen 6, this one right here, does even worse with just about 18 hours of battery life. Of course, it all depends on your usage, so if you have the always on display mode enabled, that will kill just about half of your battery life, and if you are using and doing a lot of workouts with the GPS, since this one will drain your battery life by quite a lot as well. But overall, you can expect to get right around a day of battery life out of Fossil smartwatches, which is a shame. Just for example, Garmin watches last at least 3 days and Huawei watches up to a week, and they have the same features if not more. So that is the first and probably the biggest reason I wouldn't get a Fossil smartwatch, but there are 2 more. The next big reason, which is for me personally not such a big issue, but that is the built-in GPS. You can pretty much say that both of the Fossil Gen 5 and the Fossil Gen 6 are equally good or bad when it comes to that. Now, on several tries the last couple of days, and of course my experience from the last years, these watches did the worst compared to other smartwatches in the price region of around 300 to 360 euros, when I'm looking at the prices on the official webpage. For the same price, you can get a Huawei Watch GT3 Pro, which does a way better job in GPS tracking, and also in the health tracking, which I will not mention today. Now, out in the open, the Fossil Gen 5 and 6, you can say they do a decent job for most of the time, and I can live with those results. But when you are someone that lives in a city and you want to track the GPS over there, you will have a few more problems, since you either land somewhere in the middle of a house or at least not on the street that you're actually on. Plus, it can take a while until you find a GPS signal to start a workout. It works a little bit faster on the Fossil Gen 6 than it does on the Fossil Gen 5. But I did wait for 3 minutes once, and if it's raining or super cold outside, you really don't just want to stand out there and wait for the signal. The third problem on my list are the notifications. If you're running an Android smartphone, this one will be no problem at all for you, and you are able to use those smartwatches without any disadvantages. But the problem comes when you are using an iOS device like I do with my iPhone 13. So normally when you receive notifications and messages, you can reply to those in various ways. You can either use a quick response, write your own text, send emojis, or you can just use the speak to dictate feature and let the watch do the writing for you. Now that I'm using an iPhone, I can only read all of my messages and that's it. So you have to keep that in mind before you buy a Fossil smartwatch. So guys, there's actually one more little thing that I would like to mention, and that is that you can only wear those watches on your right wrist when you're doing some workouts and you bend your wrist a lot. The problem right here is if you wear the watch on the other wrist, you will have a big problem with the button always pushing into the backside of your hand, causing the watch to end the workout or a call, or it will just simply hurt a little bit sometimes. Other smartwatches like the Apple Watch or Samsung Watch got rid of that problem, implementing the orientation feature, with which you can switch the side of the button so you can wear them either on the left or on the right wrist. Basically, what happens is that the screen will flip upside down and you can switch the wrist. Actually, pretty simple. And guys, that's already it for today. If you liked that video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.